My name is Perry Good. I'm here at Leech Lake at the Ultimate Fishing Camp. And today I want to talk about one of the biggest presentations. It's been taking the walleye world by craze lately, and that's jigging wraps. On the National Walleye Tour, I mean, a lot of the tours right now, jigging wrap is winning a lot of tournaments. And you know, we used to always think of it as just a ice fishing bait, but I tell you what, I think it's more of a summer bait than it is an ice fishing bait. And one thing in the summertime, you do not have to tip it with a minnow head. It works great. I primarily use, this is a size 7. They come in size 9. They seem to be the most popular. Typically, I like to put it on a medium size rod, about a 6'10". You can either use mono or braid. If I'm fishing it deep, I like using braid down to some put about 4 foot of fluorocarbon on the bottom end. And as far as the cadence, basically what I do is, my favorite way to do it is just to locate fish, whether they're suspended or on the bottom, and drop the jigging wrap right in the cone angle down to the fish. Keep it right above the fish. Jig, jig, pause, jig, jig, pause. Some days they don't even want it hardly even jigged. I mean, they just want it still. So depending on, you know, whether it's a cold front in or something like that, you have to, you know, figure out for yourself kind of what they want that day. But that typically works really well for me. Sometimes I like it to drop it all the way to the bottom and poof it off the bottom, like maybe it's a crayfish or a, you know, wounded minnow coming off the sand. But so that's one of my favorite ways. Another way that you can do, and it's been really popular, is when you're using your side imaging and you see some fish off to the side, is to cast it out, count it down, and you have to, you know, experiment to know how far to let it down. But typically in about 20 feet, it takes, with the number 9, it takes me about 5 seconds to get to the bottom. And then just rip, let it drop, rip, let it drop, rip, let it drop. And it's amazing, you know, the number of fish that you can catch that way. And another way is you can actually just troll it around, going about a mile an hour, keeping it at a 45-degree angle, and just rip it, rip it, rip it. And like, you know, you get a lot of reaction bites that way. So on days when the fish aren't really feeding real well, there's a cold front or the wind's out of the northeast, put on a jigging wrap and you get a reaction bite of them. And some days that's all that works. So tell you what, it's another great tip.